This is Ellen's Pro Sight Reading Tips, Part 2. I'm Ellen. I'm a professional choral singer and a classically trained soprano, and I am an excellent sight reader, and I am here to give you some of the pro tips that I use in choirs that help me to sight read as well as I do. In my last video, I talked about pitches and navigating tonality when you're sight reading. This time, I'm going to be talking about rhythm. And these tips presuppose that you already know the basics of how a musical rhythm works, you know how to count, you know how to read and execute rhythms, all of that. So the first thing that you should think about is the time signature. How many beats are in the measure? What note is getting the beat? And what's sort of the basic rhythm structure? What are the basic rhythmic building blocks of the piece? You can determine this just by looking at it. Once you have that information, as you're going along, you have to keep track of where your downbeats are. So when the conductor's hand comes down, that is the beginning of a new measure or a new bar. And if you can keep track of where those downbeats are and how many beats are in between each downbeat, it doesn't matter if you mess up the notes inside the measure because you can just recover on the next downbeat. Try to fix the notes on the second run through though. Don't just keep messing them up. The second thing is you need to count. And I know this might sound like a obviously sort of thing, but you'd be surprised at how lazy our brains get when we're not singing. You need to actually be counting, actively counting while you do this. Don't rely on somebody else. Don't rely on listening to another part because they might not be correct. They might not be accurate. They might mess it up. And if you're relying on that, you're gonna mess up too. Next is cutoffs. You wanna place cutoffs in the appropriate place. Usually that is the consonant, the final consonant of the word going on the beat following the end of the note value. There are a handful of cases where you might not do this and the conductor might ask you to do it differently, but the general rule of thumb, the last one that I'll give you for today is to put initial consonants before the beat. So especially if you have a word that begins with a consonant cluster, so like an STR or SCR or a GL or something like that. Think about how many times we say the word Gloria in the Christmas season and all those Christmas carols. You want to make sure that those consonants and consonant clusters come right before the beat. And the reason for that is because you want the vowel of the word to be on the beat. If we're putting the consonant on the beat, we're not hearing the vowel, and then the sound starts to sound like it's getting kind of delayed, and the tempo begins to drag, and we don't want that. We want to keep things in pace. Stay tuned for more of Ellen's pro sight reading tips.